Hey guys, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today I have for you the MMI Turret 300. MMI watches are based out of Singapore, and I'll put a link to their Kickstarter campaign in the description below. I'd like to thank Kevin over at Wrong Time Watch for coordinating with them to get these prototypes over stateside, and for Kevin to sending them on my way for review. I'll also have a link to his YouTube channel in the description below. Before I continue with the review, however, please remember to like and subscribe and click that bell icon to get updates when I upload new videos. I love making these videos, and I hope you like them too. So now let's get on with the review. Now, before I jump into the specs of these, I want to mention that in the Kickstarter campaign, you do have a lot of choices, different choices of coloring. We have a midnight blue here and a quicksilver version over here, but you do have other choices color-wise. You do have a choice between date and no date, and of movement. So you got an NH35 or a Sellita SW200. Obviously, there's going to be some price differential there, with the NH35 being around 293 American and the Sellita version being around $419. Now, this is a snapshot in time, so please check when you can for availability and for price. So let's jump right into the specs. We have a 40 millimeter case diameter, a 47 millimeter lug to lug, 13.8 millimeter case thickness, and you do have a sapphire crystal here, flat sapphire with anti-reflective coating, 22 millimeter lug width, 316L stainless steel and bracelet, a combination of brushed and some polished. The flanks of the bracelet is brushed with a top to bottom brushing, so very, very nice there. The lugs do slightly point down, and I'm sure for my wrist, this watch and with these dimensions in my 6 3/4 inch wrist, it'll be fine. The bracelet starts off at 22, goes down to 20, and you do have this typical clasp that you see with a lot of micros, with the full down push button and then the clasp and the 5 micro adjust. And by no means do I mean that in a bad thing. I mean, I think these clasps are very, very good for the price point that you're at. I'll take these clasps over anything that Seiko can give me at this price point. So no complaints here at all. Screw down case back. Now this is a 300 meter water resistant watch. So let's dive right into the dial and the bezel. First, about the bezel, it is 120 click. It's got this ion plated steel bezel insert, and I'm gonna I mean, so I'm having just a little bit of trouble turning it, and that's because I just can't get a grip. Now the gripping is this coin edge, and I don't think that's the problem. It could be because my hands are cold, or it could be that there's not much to grip with. So this is a prototype. I'm pretty sure they'll probably be addressing this situation. It's not that it's hard or muddy to turn around. I just can't get a really good grip on it. And like I said, it could be because I'm in the barn. It is about 30 degrees, so it could be just me having a hard time. But just do some research. There's other videos out there. See if that's an issue or not. So let's zoom right in. Now this is the date version, and it's a cool way to represent the date. So you do have 1 through 31 here, and you have these pips, these cutouts, and then the date, whatever date it is, it'll show up in red. Now, watching Kevin's video review on this, he had mentioned that MMI had reached out to him to let him know that the pips, the cutouts, will be bigger, and that the color will be orange, which I think is definitely a great upgrade or an update. I'm sure they were listening to some of their clientele who had strong opinions about that. But I like the way they're interpreting the date here. It is a little bit different. You don't see that every day. That orange will match the turret over here as well. So I think that's a positive move, and good on them for listening. Now you do have the hands and indices are coated with the Swiss Superluminova C1 grade on this one. On this watch over here, you're going to have the old radium, which is a nice touch for sure. And I'll get over that a little bit later. Um, you have, like I said, these batons, hour markers that are coated with the lume, a minute track at the edge of the dial, and then you have the symbol for MMI watches at the 12 o'clock position. Like I said, this is powered by the NH35, 300 meter water resistance, and there's how you change the date. Let me zoom in. So first position, you change the date, and you can see the pip, the red pip lighting up as it goes by. And then, of course, you can set the time hand in hand wipe and hacking. The knurling on the crown is pretty aggressive, and I could have no problems, unscrewing that crown. The case shape reminds me a little bit of a samurai, especially here at the lugs, how they come to an edge and point down a Seiko Samurai, but it's not fully a Seiko Samurai case, of course. The links drape down nicely from the lugs, and I'm sure it's, I put this on before and it's a nice fit. And I'll give you guys a wrist shot now while we're at it, and I'll throw in an outdoor wrist shot as well. So fits on, the sizing is perfect. This is a little bit tighter because it was sized on Kevin's wrist, and then my wrist is a little bit slightly larger. I could have gone easily to the micro adjust, but anyway, so nice looking watch here, sits very, very nicely on my wrist. Let's take a look at the midnight blue version, which is very, very cool. I love the color combination here. I love that old radium superluminova that they use, as well as the dark blue. Gives it a nice little vintagey kind of look. This is the Note version. Probably the version that I would go with, although I do appreciate the originality, I would say, of the date version here. It's not your typical date window at 3 o'clock or at 6 o'clock. It's a definitely different and interesting interpretation of it, so much appreciated that. Let's get a weight here of the watch with my new scale that I'm geeking out on. So let's get a nice little weight here. Let's wait till that zeroes out. And we're looking about at 194 grams. Let me zero that out again, because I feel like if that's the case, if it weighs that much, 190 grams, it doesn't really feel like it weighs that much. Let's put this watch in here. This is the one I was just wearing. Yeah, 162 grams. So this one probably has all extra links here. Let me put. Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's the deal on that. So typical weight here. Let's put it up to a size comparison with the legendary Seiko SKX 007. Everybody who's an enthusiast at some point in time, probably most likely, has had some sort of dealings with the SKX at one point. So you could see here the SKX is a 43 millimeter case diameter. The diameter for the turret is 40. Case thickness, you're going to see a little bit of thickness on the SKX 007, but you also have a more aggressive width on the bezel, and of course I have no trouble moving the bezel there. So maybe something in the future, hopefully Turret could look into, is thickening up that bezel. Or finding a way they can do it without, sacrificing more width. I mean, look, it's a 300 meter diver, so the fact that it's, slightly thinner than the SKX is pretty impressive, which is a 200 meter diver. So at this price point, the Turret 300 by MMI Watches is definitely something to consider. Look, at this price point, you're competing with Long Island watches and the Islander watch, and so if you're kind of burnt out on the Seiko SKX look or the mod look, or you're burnt out on the SKX in general, the prices have gone skyrocketed for new old stock. You don't want to pay as much as what people are asking eBay and whatnot, then this watch is something that you may want to consider. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this watch. I love to read your comments. Please put it in the comments below. I love connecting with you guys. It's one of my favorite parts of doing this whole thing. And I'll see you guys soon in the next video.